Good morning, and thank you, Aloysius, and thank you, AAIS. I trust that you're all enjoying a successful and interesting air show. It's certainly been an interesting few days for me. Like many of you, we all go to these air shows year in, year out. And after a time, you kind of get attuned to the ebbs and flows of the psyche of the industry. You know, there's the up years, there's the down years, there's the years when the US companies don't bother to travel, there's the years when Airbus is up, and there's the years when Boeing is up, and vice versa. So what's the tune of the Singapore Air Show, and what is it for me? And it's a bit of a strange mix, to be honest. I mean, obviously, most obviously, kind of the booths and the chalets, at least yesterday, they were very busy. And the people I spoke to said they were having good quality meetings, productive meetings with the right people, with the right level of contacts, and there's a high degree of confidence, and that's hardly surprising. If you think that a lot of them are the manufacturers, the OEMs, they have an enormous backlog, which provides them with a fair degree of confidence moving forward. And obviously, you have the inherent growth in this region. Less obviously, and it's alongside this confidence, somewhat curiously, there's a fair degree of uncertainty. I've had a lot of questions about what's going to happen next. Questions like, what does the Hamilton-Sundstrand-Goodrich merger mean for me? Do you think there'll be more consolidation? Will the Tier 2 and Tier 3 suppliers be able to ramp up as Airbus and Boeing increase the production rates on the 320, the NG, the 777, the 787? What do the global defense budget constraints mean for OEMs and suppliers in the military market? What does the move of Airbus and Boeing into the aftermarket mean for the MRO supply chain? So there's a lot of activity in the supply chain, and there's many assets up for sale, but it's all uncertain at this point in time. And I tell you, if even just 30% of the rumors that I've heard in the last 48 hours happen, it'll mean a significant reshaping of the aerospace and MRO supply chain over the next 24 months. So what's the current situation in the industry? I think you've all seen and you all know the extraordinary growth numbers attributed to this region. For air transport, ICF sees the global fleet growing from today's 27,000 aircraft to about 36,000 in 2021. That's a growth rate of 3.3% per annum on a global basis. Somewhat more dramatically, that means there's an extra 1,000 planes being, on a net basis, being added to the fleet every year. And that's a lot of aircraft to support in terms of growing the supply chain. In Asia, the numbers are 6,400 aircraft growing to 11,000. That's a 6.1% per annum growth rate, or a net addition of 500 planes. And if you remember, I just mentioned 1,000. Half of the additional planes growing the fleet over the next 10 years on an annual basis are coming into this region. In Southeast Asia, the 2012 fleet's about 1,000 planes today. And I looked at our numbers moving forward, and then with the order of Lion Air over the last couple of days, I may need to revise that up a bit. There's rather a large order there from Lion Air. These changes obviously have huge implications for the supply chain and for this region. And that brings us very nicely onto the topics for today's forum. Your forum organizers, they've set up 3 sessions aimed at just these issues. First, there's the financing of the planes. I read an interesting article in the press just yesterday. In 2012, Airbus and Boeing will deliver about $100 billion worth of equipment. And airlines in a good year generate, in a very good year, generate $10 to $15 billion of profit. The traditional sources of funding, the European banks, will not be so ready to support as they have been in the past. I come from Europe. Chaos still exists there. So I, for one, would like to understand how this backlog, this massive backlog of aircraft are going to get financed. Second, how is the growth going to be supported by the OEMs and the aftermarket supply chain? what are the procurement trends? As I'm a speaker in that one, I'll reserve any more comments and points on that until that session. And third, and by no means least, what about the people and the skills required to support this growth? How is that pipeline going to be assured? So you have three very pertinent sessions. You've got three sets of panelists that are very kind of knowledgeable on the subjects, so it's your opportunity to ask them questions and understand some of the background and details of these issues. So enjoy the forum, and I look forward to the panelists and to your questions. Thank you very much.